Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Twisted Talk. Here with your kind of co-host, I guess, Kaiden, the Silly Round Cat, the winner of Season 8 All Stars. And we have a very special interview today because we are going to be talking with probably one of the most iconic players in Twistvivor history. You know him, he's hosted before, and he is the winner of All Stars 2. We are talking to Dylan today. Hey, how are you today?
Pretty good. I like being called an icon, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. If there was a list from Crimson of the top 10 new era players, you would probably place at number one.
Courtney,
Yeah, but you're more iconic. Let's be for real.
I'll take it. Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are here today to talk about your Twistvivor experience because although you just began your Twistvivor journey in the second area of Twistvivor, you've made a huge impact on many different levels in the community. So let's start off with your first ever season, which I still think is the best season in Twistvivor history. And if I'm not mistaken, it was your first Survivor org, but let's talk about your game in Twistvivor The Three Rings.
Yeah, so I got introduced to Twistvivor because I was in this Big Brother org, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know how they worked. And someone was like, join this server that has a bunch of different servers, uh, where you can join. And of all the different servers that were casting or whatever, Twistvivor just stood out. So I joined, and season 11 was casting, and season 10 was running. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little nervous because I applied, but then a ton of people were like, season 10 is kind of flopping. Oh no,
We
wait.
don't talk about season 10.
Yeah, it's kind of become a thing. Nobody talks about it. So I played a mini and I won it, which was kind of funny. And then I got casted. And like getting casted was kind of like, oh shit. A lot of these people are saying they recognize each other from the community. And I'm here like, hi, I'm new. And I think my strategy was not to be too big. I wanted to kind of be an underdog. Because really quickly, especially on Shanzi, the starting tribe I was put on, it was clear we had some massive personalities. I'm talking uh, Mira, which I forget what their actual account ended up being.
That's Uso.
Uso, Wendy, which is Jay. We had Blissy. We had Aaron. Christian, so like big personalities, big like people that just stood out. Brendan just stood out as like, okay, I'm not gonna stand out here, so I need to go under. And original Shanzi was kind of fun because when people talk about the original Shanzi and who was kind of running things, they'll talk about Aaron and they'll talk about Blissy. But what people don't realize is I was right in there, but I was doing it so well because I wasn't getting the credit for it, which is what you want pre-merge. You want to have power, but you don't want to get credit. And our little blood oath pact is still one of my favorite alliances to this day. Me, Aaron, and Bliss. And then Christian kind of joined. I think we were like the Mafia or something. I forget the name. And like original Shanzi was fun because it was just chaos. Like, I don't know if you remember, Kaden, every single vote came down to like 20 minutes before the vote.
Yeah, it was something. The vote splits went insane.
And I think season 11 for me was really starting to lie for the first time. Like, in lying for no reason was kind of what I was doing over there. Because I had my allies, and new to orgs me was basically like, these are my allies. I'm sticking to them. I'm not leaving them. I will hold on to them for dear life. Everyone else, get the fuck out of our way. And already I was kind of like masterminding votes with Bliss and Aaron. Like we had this double tribal where Benno and Danny went. And I think what was so funny about that tribal was we weren't supposed to go. Um, our average was tanked in 2048, and everybody was like, how the fuck is our average tanked? Because everybody said their scores in chat, and somebody was lying because something wasn't adding up. It was me who was lying. I forgot to submit.
Oh,
Do you not remember that? Where
I don't. That's actually hilarious.
so like everyone was running around like, who the fuck is lying? Somebody's not being truthful about their score. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, please somebody don't calculate the averages with a 0 replacing everybody's score. Because they'll figure out it's me. Because the deadline I think was like 8 p.m. and I got off work at 8 p.m. So I submitted at 8:01 and it didn't count. So we lost. But then we just went to tribal and that tribal was crazy. We went back and forth. And that's kind of how the whole game went. We just kind of went with it. Aaron obviously got swap screwed, but Bliss, Christian, and I, and Nezzy and Tilio, we just won immunities that round. So once we merged, that first merge round was kind of insane for me. I don't know if you remember, Kaiden, I kind of went insane.
Yeah, kind of.
I blew everything up because I was a new org player and paranoia was new to me because I felt so comfortable on Sean Z
Hmm.
that not feeling comfortable wasn't something I'd done yet. I ended up in a 1-to-1-to-1 tie because Doran, or I guess Smoop, negated every vote except for 3. And it was a revote, and I was begging people to save me. After that round, it was kind of smooth sailing. I had a lot of power. People knew I had power. Um, but then final like 7 came, and I'm a person where I hate mixing personal and game. So if you remember something from me from season 11, you're probably going to remember my big blow up where I kind of blew up pretty much every single person's game.
Hmm.
Because Brendan basically, in order to justify voting me out, he told Smoop to lie to him so that Brendan wasn't lying when he could say that somebody told him that I was spreading around a bunch of shit about him and making fun of him. It was really weird, but when he told me that, I felt awful because one, he was being lied to because I didn't, but two, because somebody would make up that lie. So in that, I kind of just decided to blow up every single person's game and then got myself a legacy advantage that was only usable that round, so nobody could vote me out. Then at final 6, I died because like I had no relationships left. Oops, it
That's
happens.
unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking through the voting charts right now. I feel like as a production team, we expected um Nick to go home on that revote where it
Yeah,
tied 1-1-1.
definitely, but I still
Um,
got paranoid.
oh yeah, 100%. And in that round, the only reason you were in that tie was because of a disadvantage that you got
Yep,
where
nobody voted
production
me.
voted for you.
Production voted for me like
Yeah,
3
that
rounds in a row or something in season 11. It was crazy.
yeah, you got screwed or something.
My luck was not there.
But no, like season 11, like that was the first season that I hosted, and
You killed it.
it wasn't even just like that. It was just like the personalities of everybody in the season just made for the season. Like it's like the Kagiyan of Twistvivor pretty much, where it's like these are all personalities and players that, like if they return, they're gonna still do well, even if they already did well.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, like you and Blissey, I've said it multiple times, were like the the showman of Twistvivor.
I
Like you
can
two
I can get
were a
into that a
huge
little
duo.
bit. Um,
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Kenna, which is what Blissey's alt was on the season, Kenna made me feel like I wasn't a newbie. Kenna made me feel like welcome, and if it weren't for Kenna, I don't think I would have. I don't even think I would have revealed my voice on voice chat so soon. I wouldn't have had fun in those game nights. Like, genuinely made me feel safe. And when Aaron got swap screwed, Kenna and I were kind of only left with each other. to fully trust. And we went through the game just getting closer, VCs till ungodly hours of night, always talking. It was amazing. And I would never trade that for anything. One of the best org relationships I've ever had in an org. Um, and like especially when I found out her name wasn't Kenna, but it was Bliss, that was hilarious.
The whole twist of the not twist of the season, but one of them just fully revealed.
Yeah. That the reveal of that was funny too because I didn't know Kenna was an alt, but I knew alts were in the game because I was talking with Tilio one time. We were playing Roblox or something, and Tilio was like, "Well, on my last season, the twists were a lot more twisty." And I was like, "What do you mean on your last season?" And they were like, "Oh no, I mean like the season I spectated." And I was like, "Oh, sure. Okay."
Yeah, he kind of fumbled the bag with that one. That was the scandal of the season, pretty much.
I was like, "So Kenna, did you know there's alts in the game?" And then she was like, "Yeah, I am one." I was like, "The fuck? You're telling me my closest ally, my bestie, is an alt?" But yeah, then we won best duo. I won best comps in my first ever Survivor org, which was pretty cool. Best alliance. So I won a couple awards. I got sixth place. Honestly, a really positive experience. Loved the season. Loved the hosting. There's a reason I returned to Twistvivor so quickly after it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it was really fun to see you play in that season, and I don't think I've ever felt so sad for people being voted out like it was for you and Blissey.
That
Like
was
you
so
two
crazy. Do you remember the
going out
big
was
like?
actually like devastating.
Remember the big paragraphs that got us like the strike or whatever?
Yes, yeah, I do. I'm trying to remember what it was though.
I think it was like we you had to just there was a conf question where it was like describe each person with one word. And in my conf, I just wrote this massive thing about Bliss. And then in her final words, she kind of repeated it, but about me. And it was so heartbreaking. But
Uh,
yeah, we can't find it, but that's fine.
that yeah, that's okay. But no, that it was really fun to watch that. And obviously, like for as well as you played and how well people liked you, you were invited back to be a favorite 2 seasons later in Twistvivor Fans versus Favorites. Obviously on the favorites side of things, but
Yeah.
let's talk about that because I'm actually not too familiar with your run that season.
It was an interesting run. Uh, I'm not proud of it because I came in with a little bit of an ego. And I think my mistake was I wanted to win so bad that I came in at 100% immediately. Like no hesitation. I was 100%. And I socialized so fast. I made a favorites alliance. I made relationships on the outside of the favorites alliance. I was cutting connections by like round three because we had two inactives on our tribe. I
Wow.
was sent on the little journey for like the best social player multiple times. I think the most of anyone in the season. So it was, we started, I immediately got a duo with Breezy, and I don't remember much of pre-merge, but I just remember like I won my first individual immunity. Uh, the hardest vote was probably the fair vote, fur vote. I don't know how you say the name.
I think it's fair or fair fur. I think it's fair. I'm pretty sure it's fair.
Hardest vote was fair vote because Breezy and I kind of had to decide: do we side with Fair and Keiki, or do we side with the favorites? And we realized like we're probably swapping soon. The smartest choice is to side with the favorites because more numbers. It's a 5-person alliance versus a 4-person alliance. And that was the biggest part of that. We swapped and to 4 tribes of 4. And
Yeah.
my tribe was a disaster. I got really close with Snowy. Meredith was there. Yeah. And then there was Bruv. And Bruv and I did not get along very well. Not at all, actually. So it was the first vote really came down to Bruv versus Dylan. And a lie about an idol that I had caused Meredith to vote with me and send Bruv out. Thank God. Um, then we won immunity. I forget how, I forget why, but we did. And then we had the like craziest tribal I've ever been a part of. And I think you know what tribal I'm about to reference, don't you?
The Andrew tribal.
Not the Andrew tribal, the
No.
Reefy and Caroline tribal.
Was that a joint tribal?
It was joint between 3 of the 4 tribes. It was Earn Your Merge.
Right, I do remember that.
The top 2 vote getters would leave the game. And at a tribal with, I remember there's how many people were there?
There
3
would have
plus 3,
been
10. 10 people
10,
there?
yeah.
Or yeah, 10 people there. Me and Snowy navigated every single vote to kind of get the outcome we wanted. And all we didn't count on was Caroline using a steal a vote. And had we been successful, Caroline would have survived and Peter and Reefy would have gone, which would have been a massive blindside. Like
Wow.
fucking massive. Nobody expected Peter to get votes. I think it was a tie vote between Peter and Caroline in the end. And like the only people who voted Peter were Snowy and I. We just had so many advantages. And
Right.
Caroline used a steal a vote on Snowy to vote Snowy. But what is kind of twisted about it was the vote they stole was for Peter. And had that vote been valid, Peter would have gone without a revote and Caroline would have survived. So Caroline kind of advantaged herself out of the game. She could have never predicted it, but it's still funny.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah. Then Snowy and I kind of dominated the merge. Whoever we said went round after round after round after round. Then I started building the puzzles to go win this game. I started making Snowy this massive threat and telling people I was going to flip on Snowy to keep myself safe. I had this whole plan. At the final 10, it was 2 split tribals, 5 and 5. And my plan was I knew Snowy was going to try to blindside Red. And I knew Snowy had many advantages. So my plan was I was going to go tell Red to idle out Snowy. Red was going to become this massive target. Snowy was going to give me all of their advantages. Everything was going to go perfectly. Except tribal happened half an hour after the immunity challenge ended, and I did not expect that. So my plan didn't get to happen, and Red went out and gave all their advantages to Snowy.
Yeah.
Then at final 8, I started setting up the things again to find a way to get Snowy out and get all their advantages. I had this whole plan ready. And then Snowy got ejected with all their advantages in their pocket.
This is just wow.
And then my entire game, everybody in the game went, well, now that Red's gone and Snowy's gone, Dylan, that's a massive threat. And at Final 7, it was touchy subjects. And think every single positive thing, it went to me.
Wow.
Who's going to win this game? Who's going to get pots? Who's hero? Who's villain? Who's getting invited back for All Stars? Who's your best friend on the cast? Like everything positive went to me. And I actually managed to get the votes on my side at Final 7, but advantages fucked me, and I went out at 7th.
That's
looking
so
back,
unfortunate.
I'm happy I got out seventh. I was rude. I felt entitled to things. Like I felt entitled to the win. It wasn't pretty. And I'm kind of happy I got seventh. I think I needed to get seventh for season 20 to go the way that it did.
Right. Yeah, that it's just crazy looking back on fans versus favorites because I wasn't in like a huge role that season. I'm pretty sure I was just there for the wiki,
Yeah.
but just seeing the game go down and like I guess you could argue like the pagongings that happened. There were so many. Like if you look at the entire merge, everybody that was voted out in the merge was a returnee player.
Yeah, because only Kalabe was the only fan that made merge, right? And Sean.
Kalabe, Sean, and Ballerina, but Ballerina quit.
Yeah, Ballerina quit.
And then
You know, Ballerina
Sean,
lived like 5 minutes away from me.
yeah, I think you told me that before.
That was funny.
That is funny. Um, yeah, so anyways, you did season 13 and just missed the mark of your previous placement, but of course we move on to the most iconic season in Twistvivor to date, something filled with a lot of blindsides, a lot of reckless gameplay, but most importantly, the absolute domination of a win that was you
Yes.
here in season 20 Battle of the Season. So let's talk about this because I'm sure you have a lot to say.
There's a lot in my game from season 20 that wasn't as complex in my game from season 11 and 13. Um, Starting season 20, I think a big thing about it, knowing you were getting casted for All Stars, was who's gonna be there.
Hmm.
Like you can't go into All Stars without a plan. But you also can't text people before All Stars. So you need to almost predict who's going to be there to formulate a plan because plans only work if you know who's in them. And my prediction of who was going to be on the cast was so fucking off that my plan going into the season had to be scrapped completely.
Do you mind sharing that list of who you thought was going to get cast?
Oh, I 100% thought Christian was going to be there. I thought Kalabe was going to be there. There were so many people I was sure of that just weren't, right? So then, like, these big players that I just kind of assumed were there, I had to not think of that. So then I had to kind of reset everything. Sorry, someone's texting me.
Yeah, that's okay. Somebody's been banging on my dorm door for the last little bit, and I think somebody finally let them in.
I'm sorry. Sorry, someone's sending me something that's so what the heck. Anyway, um basically going in, I kind of scrapped everything. And my whole game plan was have fun. Take it slow. Okay, wait 1 second. I am being called. I need literally 2 minutes. Well,
That's okay. Take your time.
yeah.
This is like a commercial break.
Okay, I am back. I apologize for that.
That is totally fine.
We went to a shooting.
So, going in, I just wanted to have fun. I didn't want to be like serious. Because I also, going into the season, I didn't think I could win.
I remember you telling me that, like, you went in and you were like, I don't think I have a chance at winning. And I was like, you would be surprised.
I saw the cast and I think my brain just went, no, that's not happening. This isn't your season, so just have fun. So when I got put on the Inti tribe, I don't know why they decided this, but I was put with Becca. And everyone like Kat knew and he was the host and Crimson knew. Becca and I were literally like so close. So immediately we made a final two. Like, and it wasn't even a pregame. It was more just you put us here. What did you expect?
Right.
We obviously got along. Like we talked before we made the final two for probably like 4 hours straight, and it was just perfect, amazing, easy conversation. Like there was no way we weren't aligning. So we made that. And Taco and I talked and we like I made a connection with him, then I made a connection with Esty, then I made a connection with and then it's just over and over and over. And I realized like going in like to sleep that first night, I was like, oh shit, everyone feels close with me. That's not smart. Should probably ease up a bit.
Yeah.
But our tribe never went to tribal, so we kind of all just joked around and talked. And I'm very good at faking interests, or not faking interest, exaggerating interests. So I was able to talk with everyone pretty much very well and easily. And one thing I want to point out was very early on our tribe, it became clear if we were going to tribal, it was Logan. Like Logan was gone.
Right.
He was the least social. And I talked to some people and they literally told me like they had stopped talking to Logan because why talk to him? He's going to be gone pre-jury anyway. And I took that and I thought, let me make the best relationship I can with this guy. I don't know why I did it, but I got really close with him. And once you get past his wall, he puts up a wall when he starts talking to you. But if you can get past it, he's actually a really cool person. So then, a couple swaps later, we had voted out Phoenix already, which was the easiest vote of my life. Didn't talk for like 24 hours. And then we were at Tribal, and Phoenix was like, you shouldn't vote me. And everyone on the tribe was like, who are you? Because the swap was funny. It was literally all Inti and Phoenix. So, dude was fucked. And then I'm chilling there, and I'm on a swap tribe with Tyra, Uni, James, and Cornbread. And you see this tribe, and you're like, Dylan, you should be fucked. And my thought process was like, no, I'm not fucked.
No.
Because at that point, I had had an idol. I found it through the help of Taco. And I had a safety without power through the help of Taco and Becca. So I wasn't fucked whatsoever. But also, Uni and I just hit it off. Very easy to talk to. And Tyra, I pounced on her. She was an opportunity, not a drawback. People would have seen my situation and gone, stay away from Tyra, make Tyra the easy boot. If you go to tribal, Tyra's the boat. I took that and went, let me get as close with Tyra as freaking possible. Because she has nobody right now, because she had just returned to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And she should talk a lot of people in my DM. She was like, fucking Cornbread betrayed me, and oh my god, I'm so mad at him. And then fucking Kaiden lied to me. He said he was gonna be with me, and I was like, ooh, T, okay.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why,
He was
but
heartbroken by that.
Tyra and I decided to have a fake fight. It was really fun. I wouldn't take it back if I could. Actually, apparently it helped our games. Nobody saw Tyra and I as allies. up until much later. So the fake fight actually did help us because people bought it. It was hilarious though. Probably one of the most fun times I had that season because we were fucking cursing each other out in like in the camp chat and then DMing each other and being like, "This is so funny. This is how you should insult me next." So that was fun. And then we were swapping again, and I'm on a VC with Tyra, and we're like, we're probably not gonna be on the same tribe. If we are, yay. If we aren't, I'll miss you. And I get this ping in my submissions, and it's like, goodbye message from Logan. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could send cross tribe goodbye messages. That's cute that you wanted to send me one. And I'm reading it, and it's like, thank you for like giving me the time of day, and I want you to do what I couldn't. I made a really stupid mistake. Don't make the same one I did. Here's the Inti idol. Pardon?
Pardon?
I'm sorry, did you repeat that? Here's the what? And my dumbass is on VC with Tyra, and I'm like, idol? And she's like, idol? And I'm like, oh shit. Now she knows I have another idol. I wanted this one to be a secret, but now she already knows. And then we got swapped. And this is kind of like the first interesting round of the game. And you know exactly what round it is. You, me, Notch, Uni, and James.
Yes.
And I don't know how, but somehow we got put in the middle.
I don't know how that happened. Like,
If you told me I was going to be in the middle on that swap tribe, I would have told you were on crack. But sure. And we had to choose between Uni or Notch. And like, let's be real here. Notch had very few social connections. Uni had a lot. It made it very easy, the choice.
Yes, 100%.
And then we lied and said Notch made the alliance with us so that Uni volunteered to be the decoy vote.
That I remember talking about that. Like, that was a power move, and like nobody realizes it.
You and I were just like, sure.
Well, because like I knew that I was gonna work with you no matter what. Like, it's kind of a given.
I was so ready to go to the end with you.
I was too, and then something happened.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Give me a minute. Then we swapped again. And I don't even remember much from the swap because my tribe won immunity. But like I met Ariana finally, and I got reunited with SD after God knows how long away from her. That was cute. Becca and I reunited. Nope, did we? Maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, Tyra and I reunited. That's what it was. That was cute. Then Mergatory happened. And Mergatory was cute. I got immunity and I was vibing. And then I found out James S was getting voted out by an alliance, and I was not a part of it. And I decided that that wasn't going to work for me. I was going to be a part of every vote out in this game if I had something to say with it about it. So Becca told me, and my first impulse was I'm telling Allie and James because I had an alliance with them with Becca. I'm telling Kaiden and Breezy because I have an alliance with you guys. I'm telling James S because he's the name that's out there, and I'm making this 6-person alliance called the Bottom Bitches.
Yep, I remember that iconic name.
And our united force to know that we were left out of a plan was able to get so many of that original alliance to flip with us that Crystal had no chance. And I'm going to say a misplay I made here was I didn't tell Tyra that Crystal was going. I told Tyra that something was happening, and she told me not to tell her. And I listened. And I wish I didn't listen. That was a misplay on my part. I should have just told her so she didn't have to be told by Taco.
Right.
But Crystal ended up going, and I felt on top of the world because I had just organized this massive flip move that people were crediting Becca with, and everyone was making Becca this big target. when I was the one on all those VCs causing it to happen. So I was kind of chilling, like, well, slay. Okay, right? Then Final 12 hits. And Bruno and I have this conversation. And he basically calls me like, nope, that was Final 11. Final 12 was you, right?
Yep, that's me.
Yeah. Final 12 hits. And Becca's telling me, she's like, Dylan, a lot of people are scared of you, Kaiden, and Breezy. Everyone's saying you three are really closely aligned. And everyone's saying that Kaiden and Breezy are these massive, massive targets, but they don't want to take a shot at them. So I'm scared there's going to be a shot taken at you to hurt them. And anything close to hearing my name was enough for me to know that I needed to change something. So I went to Tyra and Taco, and we formed this little alliance, me, Tyra, Taco, and Becca, the four of us. And I decided to use my alliance with the bottom bitches and my alliance with these guys to organize a split vote of 5-4-3, where Tyra would go. Then I would fuck up the votes. So me, Becca, and Taco would vote where we weren't supposed to vote, stack all the votes on Tyra, and then have Tyra, SD, and Bruno's votes send you back packing.
Wow.
And the reason I did it was I wanted my idol that Taco knew about gone. I didn't trust Taco. And I wanted that idol gone. I wanted the only idol left of mine to be the one that Tyra knew about from Logan. Because everyone had said it went home with Logan. And I was like, yeah, sure. Everyone, let's believe that story. And I wanted to separate myself from you and Breezy. I wanted not to hurt my alliance with Ali, James, and Breezy. I wanted to build trust with Bruno, SD, Tyra, and Taco. And I wanted Becca and I to be in the middle. And I've always wanted to be a part of an alliance where two people were on one side and two people were on the other side. So this alliance had all the power. And I pulled it off with Becca's help, a lot of Becca's help, but the two of us pulled it off. And it's still a move I'm proud of to this day.
Just hearing everything, like all the logistics behind it, makes it sound even better than it was when I heard about it, like when you confessed to it.
We'll get to that.
Wow. That's a lot of stuff behind it that I didn't even know of until now. That's crazy. That just makes me respect the movie even more.
The way I like to play is I like people to think I'm making emotional decisions and then have those decisions be strategical. Because everything I do in orgs is strategical. Maybe if I play a video game or something, that's not strategical. But even then, there's benefits to it, right?
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention was that tribal that you mentioned in your interview with Uni going. You forgot to mention I was there.
I think I forgot to mention that specifically because you used your safety without power.
One thing I wanted to bring up about that safety without power. Yes, I used it because I wasn't going to be able to be on for a Twistvivor tribal with my papa's funeral and everything. Not my papa's funeral, with the idea of him passing away. I was constantly making trips between the nursing home and my house and stuff, right?
Right.
But also, I was on a tribe with my 6 closest allies. Leaving tribal made it so I burned a grand total of 0 bridges.
Power move.
So there was benefits strategically to it as well. Anyway, moving on to the final 11. Bruno's round, he basically talked to me as if you don't flip, you're a goat, you're going to make it to the end, I'm going to berate you at final tribal council. You're going to end with 0 votes, and your game was going to be for nothing. Except nobody tells me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that and made sure every single vote was going to be on Bruno, and Bruno was going to be gone, including Esti's vote. I like to play orgs with respect. And I love Bruno. And Bruno has admitted to me after that the way he talked to me was very aggressive. And in the moment, I was just like, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to be scare tactic. Nobody scares me into doing something that's bad for my game.
Right.
And it was almost good because it got me to keep the Ali and James S connection 1 round longer, because Tyra and Taco heard the way he talked to me and agreed to get another person out from their side. Final 10 was hard because Tyra and Taco had finally had enough and they wanted someone from my side gone, which I think is kind of silly because you did go and they were like, nobody has been from your side. And I'm like, I literally idled out a really, really close ally of mine 2 rounds ago, but okay. And they were adamant that Allie had to go. So I VC'd Allie right before her vote out, and I was like, if you have anything, play it just in case. To still keep her knowing that, not knowing that I knew the votes were going to be on her, but I wanted her to have one last chance. Right?
Right.
She didn't. She got voted out. And she left saying how much she loved me. Then Final 9 is a move that I still don't know how I pulled off. At Final 9, the only strategically correct move for me to make was to vote SD out. It was the only way I would guarantee my path to the end of this game. Except nobody wanted to vote SD out going into that round. Literally no one. And I knew I needed people to make dumb impulse decisions for this to work. So I waited till an hour and a half before tribal to start talking to people about this potential vote. I took one thing Tyra said to Becca. I took one thing Becca said to Tyra. Tyra said another thing to Becca, which Becca told me, which was something about SD, that Becca misunderstood. I took that and convinced everyone that Tyra was okay with SD going, and including Taco, got all the votes on SD, got Taco to throw his vote, so that it ended up being like a 4 to 3 to 1 split.
Was it 4 to 3 to 1? Yes, yeah, 4 to 3 to 1 to 1.
To 1 to 1, because James B wasn't there and he auto voted Taco or something. I don't know how I pulled that move off, because then SD gave me her steal a vote, not thinking that I was the one that pulled that off. And a big storyline of the season so far had been Becca and Dylan are a duo, and if they make it to the end together, Becca is going to sweep the jury and Becca's winning. So I knew I needed to start doing some things to make me a little more significant, because I was never going to cut Becca. I was never going to vote her out, period. Final 8 is where it gets interesting. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but the final vote count was supposed to be a 4 to 3 to 1, where Breezy would leave, I would get 3 votes, and Taco would get 1 vote. Is what I've been told from everyone.
Interesting.
Would that have actually happened with, I think there was like 5 minutes left of tribal before Taco was ejected? 5 minutes is a lot of time for something to happen. But that was the vote count at the time. Or it was 4 to 2 to 1, but the vote that wasn't cast has been said that it was gonna be for me. So I wasn't gonna play anything because I knew where the votes were. I had expected a 4 to 3 to 1, and that's what I've kind of been told was gonna happen. But Taco's ejection happened. And I don't want to comment too much on it, but Becca and I had noticed something earlier in the season. We told production. They told us to leave it alone. Then that round, Becca was told to mention a half idol in her confessional. And Taco started talking about the potential of a half idol right after. And from that, Taco was ejected, I think. I don't know the full story, but I think that's what it was. And when it happened, Becca and I were kind of like, oh, so we were right. Which kind of hurt us because then everybody was like, wow, you guys let a cheater that you knew was cheating make it this far. Except we didn't know he was cheating, and it's not for us to make that decision. If that makes sense.
That does make sense, yeah.
We were told to play as if he wasn't cheating because it would be unfair if he wasn't, and we took one coincidence and stopped working with him because of it. So that's what we did. And it just turned out that way. But I guess on his way out, Taco blew up everything about my game in that I was playing the middle. And about Becca's game and that she was playing the middle. So before he left, I made a public announcement about everything I had done. Ali still hasn't spoken to me since that announcement.
Really?
Yeah. And I expected you to be pissed. Final 7 came around and I made my path to the end. I knew if I got Becca and Tyra in the final 6 and I could get those two people to stick together, I was winning this game. Or not winning, but I was at least making the end of this game. So at Final 7, I just pissed everyone on the other side off. I lied, knowing I'd get caught in them. I wanted people to vote me because it was time to use my idol. But then I thought, I need to be a little bit more flashy. I need to separate myself from Becca. So what if I put on a little show? You know where I'm going, right?
Yeah, I do know where you're going.
So then Tyra, Becca, and I made a plan where we were gonna split the votes. Tyra was gonna vote with them as if she was just as blindsided. Becca was gonna vote Ariana. I was gonna vote Breezy. I played my idol, and it was 5 votes on me, which we knew was coming. And I told Breezy, you play your 50-50 coin right now. If you don't play your 50-50 coin, you will face someone in fire that you will 100% lose to.
Yeah, I I remember watching that tribal, and like you'll probably talk about it a bit more, but I remember watching it and being like, holy crap, this is like a one-man show.
And Breezy was like, huh, I think I'm good. You're just lying. And Becca was like, Breezy, I told you I'd be honest with you this round. Play your fucking idol. And Breezy was like, oh shit. And then Tyra was like, Breezy. Tyra was Breezy's number one ally. Tyra was like, Breezy, you need to play your fucking idol. I think Dylan's telling the truth. And I planted a lie to like James B earlier that made him think I was voting Ariana. So he was like, no, he voted Ariana. You're fine. But Breezy, I don't know why I lied about that too. But anyway, Breezy decided to play his thing and it went awry. So then Tyra gave him the fire idol, which I told her to use just to get as many advantages out of the game as I could. I like messaged her and I'm like, you should give him the fire idol. So then she's like in VC with Becca and I. She's like, should I do the fire idol? And Becca was like, no, don't give him the fire idol. And I was like, you should just like do what you want. And then I sent her a message and I was like, give him the fucking fire idol. So she gave him the idol. So that idol was gone. And Ariana and Breezy went to fire. And like we all know how that ended because Ariana was gonna beat Breezy at fire. And the amount of negative reactions I got that tribal council from the jury told me that I might not have a chance at this win unless I go into final tribal council saying that I was a bitch and that I was a villain and I know what I did. And that was the first tribal where my vote was the only vote to send somebody home. Then Final 6 came. The immunity challenge was doodle cricket. I grinded the ever-living fuck out of it, and I won. Because I was not going home in 6th place again. That was not happening.
No, no, no.
Notice how I was immune for Final 7 and Final 6. And then I won immunity. And then I got Becca and Tyra to stick together. We did a split vote with all of our extra votes. For some reason, Ariana, James, and James split their votes. I don't know why. And my votes were the only votes to send James B home. Oh my god, 2 in a row where I was the sole vote. Oh, y'all don't understand how happy I was that James B was gone there. Love him now. Loved him then. But oh my god, in the game. It was such a breath of like fresh air.
It's like the heavens opened.
Literally. Final 5, I knew I was safe because I had Becca and Tyra, and both of them would never vote me. Which is why I brought Becca and Tyra so far in the game. I knew I was immune with both of them there. And Final 5 was interesting because Ariana basically came to my DMs and said, you shouldn't vote me out because I'll never vote for someone who used a cheater to get themselves ahead in the game. And my response to that was fuck no, because that's using a production thing against me. If you said I'll never vote for you in the end because you've been a villain and I don't respect it, sure, go for it. That's your choice. But that cheating thing was out of my control. I was told, do not treat him like a cheater because that's not fair to him because we don't have the evidence that he is cheating. So I took it to tribe chat. People weren't very happy with my theatrics, but I don't give a fuck. And Ariana quit. Ariana was getting voted out in 5th place anyway, but she quit. So that happened, which I guess was like, okay. It's a very awkward round for me. I don't know how to describe it. Final 4, I paired myself up with Tyra because I wanted to give Tyra a fighting chance, but I knew Becca and James would probably beat us. That doesn't mean I didn't try. It just means I knew that if I beat Tyra in fire, I was going to send home the jury favorite, and that should put me ahead of Becca in the jury's eyes. And we grinded all night to try to win that challenge because I did want to make it to the end with Tyra because, like I said, I was playing this game for fun and loyalty meant more to me. But we lost, and I won fire, and I went to Final Tribal claiming to be the villain, and then I won 8-1 and cleaned up a shit ton of awards.
Absolutely slayed.
It's an interesting game for me because I'm so proud of it. I don't want it to come off as cocky.
Oh no, don't like you won. You have all the rights.
But I'm still really proud of the game I played, right?
And I am too. Like I didn't think like you say, you went into the season not feeling like you even lived up to the standards of everybody else on the cast. But that's exactly how I felt going into All Stars. And I was like, I don't deserve to be here, but I'm going to make the most of every opportunity that I can. And our games were 100% drastically different because you were like the top dog villain mastermind, and I was the underdog who somehow made it to the end.
Kind of fitting for the 2 All Stars winners.
It actually kind of is. It's really fun. But like when we were playing together, I expected you to play the nice social guy, the hero that we all knew and loved from season 11. And you came in, I get idled out, and I was like, I'm rooting for Dylan. Like, he's very good at the game. He's got to win. And then your whole comment about me getting idled out at the taco ejection, like I said it in my interview that V had with me, but I had to sit back and be like, I'm not even mad at Dylan for making that move. Like he did that and he's still getting this far and he's about to like get to the end and win. Like it's crazy. And like I know you expected me to completely rip you apart, but the but your move against me and moves against me where I have ripped people apart in the past have been in completely different contexts. And your move was just so iconic. I couldn't be mad at you.
Thank you. That final tribal was interesting because there's a couple things about it. I had two full circle moments. The one with you, with the wow. And the
I tried to make it as dramatic as possible to just scare you.
oh, I was terrified. I was shaking when I started that message. Actually three full circle moments. The second full circle moment was with Bruno when he said he'd call me a goat at FTC, and he did, but then he changed the definition of goat. So that was funny. And then James B, I put in like the final seven chat when we were having our public argument. It's okay, you'll never vote for me in the end, so I can say like I can be rude to you all I want or something like that. And then he took a screenshot of that and voted for me, and he said, I guess I get the last laugh. So like I had so many full circle moments. And one thing about that FTC is interesting is some people said to me, like, why didn't you go in on Becca and James? Because I was very nice at FTC with like I respect their games. I could see why you'd vote them over me. And the thing is, like I said, I was playing this game for fun. If I was playing to win 100% and I was never going to talk to these people again, and these people weren't my friends, or like there was money on the line, sure, I could have ripped them apart. But what do I gain from that in this org? Right?
Right.
Especially the comments at FTC I was getting, I did expect a few votes. I didn't expect to win 8-1. But
7-1, but yes.
oh, 7-1? Oh yeah, because Ariana didn't vote.
And Taco.
And Taco. But I did expect to win, but I didn't expect to win by that much. So I didn't feel the need to be a bitch or be really awful. Especially since Becca told me, like, Becca and I kept it no bullshit with each other, and she told me to my face, like, Dylan, you're winning. And I know the difference between Becca being pessimistic and Becca being her, and she was being her. And that's when I knew I was winning. I didn't believe it myself until she told me.
Mm-hmm.
I think a special thing is that season I got 2 number ones, and I never do. But Tyra and Becca were such different stories. And I loved having them both and playing the game alongside them both. And the fact I was able, if like going into merge, would you ever have predicted that Tyra and Becca both make Final Four?
Personally, just knowing how they play, I could see how they could, but like with how big of threats they were, definitely not.
Exactly.
I thought
And
Tyra was gonna get voted out like almost
immediately.
immediately after me. Becca, I could have seen making a deep run, but like final seven at least.
So the thing is, they made it there a lot in part to me. And then I know some people in the FTC really said about my game, like, you were going to take Tyra to the end and lose. But at the end of the day, I knew I had played the game I wanted to. And Final Four was just more about I didn't need the win. I had won already in my head with the moves I had pulled off. That if Tyra took the win, I would have been just as happy. Now, if other people had taken the win, I wouldn't have been that happy. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, for sure. But no, you played an incredible game that season and one that you should rightfully be proud of.
What's
But yeah,
funny
is
is
there
during
no,
that
sorry, go
season,
ahead.
what's funny is during that season, I was also playing the season and planning/hosting season 21.
Yes, that is right. And I was actually going to transition into your hosting
Oh yeah.
experience in Twistvivor, because you've hosted 2 seasons now.
Yep.
You've helped out with others, but you've hosted two. So
Mhm.
let's talk about your first one, which is also another iconic season, season 16, Heroes versus Villains. Um, how was your experience with hosting that? Because I know you worked really hard on that.
I worked hard because I never hosted before. I had been production, but I hadn't done anything. Like, I think I had ran one tribal before hosting season 16. So to go from running one tribal as a measly production member to running heroes versus villains of a massive org server, ugh, a lot of expectations get put on you.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make it different. I didn't want to make it boring. So I did my best. And there were some rightful complaints about the season from a hosting perspective. But overall, I think everyone kind of enjoyed it and it wasn't too much hell. So I think I did a good job and I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It was fun.
from comments about this season, I even talked to Kat about this because he played in that season and he said he felt like the season was good with the hosting things, but the cast got way too aggressive at each other. So it was less production's fault for some of its flaws, even though I thought it was a pretty good season. It was more the cast getting very mad at each other.
Heroes vs. Villains was extremely hyped up and it became a thing of like you want to win Heroes vs. Villains. That's
100%.
massive. And a lot of the younger players, something I noticed, played extremely aggressively. And when you look back at it, the people who had the most power at points of the game, specifically, I'm talking about Ainsley, Kat, Courtney, and Sam, they're all relatively older. I think Sam might be the youngest of them, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, I think Ainsley was. Yes. Yes,
I think
yes.
Ainsley's in her 20s. So yeah.
We're gonna say yes.
So like, and then the younger people, so like 15, 16, 17 year olds, were all extremely chaotic and they wanted the win. But that calm gameplay ended up being what held the most power. For example, like Courtney and Sam dominated and they played calm, laid back games. On the original Heroes tribe, Kat and Ainsley dominated by playing calm games. And what's funny is on a season of chaos, the winning strategy was to be calm, which I really liked, like how that turned out.
It's very poetic.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then of course you, as you mentioned, you did also host Blood versus Water while playing in your season. Um, Tell us about that because you were talking to me during its production many times about how this is going to be a great season. You've got like so many new ideas and it's going to be a big cast and you're hoping that it goes really well. So let's hear about your experience with Blood versus Water.
My whole thing with Blood versus Water is I didn't want it to be a repeat. I didn't want anyone to play that and think, wow, I just played the same thing I have been playing like over and over and over in every single org and I'm bored, right?
Right.
And I thought the best way to do that is I'm going to make original twists in Twistvivor, right?
Something we all know and love, yes.
So I made the like pre-merge twist where with the executioner, the flooding, the eruption, the life twist. I made it so like instead of their actual blood versus water partner, they got cross tribe connections with random ass people. And I made the garden advantage system, which I think worked perfectly because not everyone got advantages, and I didn't feel like there was too many at any point in the game. Um, a 32 player cast is massive. And I didn't want the season to go on forever, so I did have to do a lot of large number eliminations, like 4 people eliminations, 3 people eliminations, stuff like that. But overall, I think the season went very well, and I was very happy with it. And I made so many original comps and so many original twists that, like, even if it didn't go well, I was still happy with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, the cast played their asses off. Oh my God, so many entertaining people. And 2 of the strongest players of the season, a really strong duo, actually, kind of makes sense if you think about it, were 2 of my really close friends outside of the org,
Namely,
Elliot and Derek V.
oh yes, Elliot and Derek. Love those two.
Well, Derek won the season, and Elliot was a big name in the season.
100%. Yeah. Well, Elliot, I've known to be like a I've known him as a great player.
Very erratic player, which I love.
100%. Derek, I didn't know until the season started, but I knew that he was from Ivy Org, and he's awesome. Like he's one of the hosts there for the season that I'm in right now, and he's just amazing. He's so funny and awesome.
What's funny is I actually didn't meet him through Ivy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they were awesome, and just so many great casting choices that, like, I was so ready for the season. And even casting choices that we didn't expect much from and we're just hoping played their best. Like Harry, first time org player, 13 years old. Like, there's not much you can expect from him. Honestly, expected him to be inactive and get booted early. And he was like the pre-merge villain.
Yeah, I remember watching his boot and like he seeing so many people comment on how well he played for his first time.
So, like, the season went very well and I was very proud of it. And I mean, I've learned a lot from Twistvivor hosting that I'm going to take into, let's just say, a future project.
Hmm.
And yeah, I guess that's my hosting experience.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, so it's been great talking about what you've done in Twistvivor so far and just getting a deep dive into all of your strategies, all of your plans, and all of your experience. But what's the plan for the future? What is your vision for your future as not just a member of Twistvivor, but also just as an org player and in life in general?
Well, I'm gonna stop playing majority of orgs. I'm only gonna play All Stars for a bit. If I get invited and I do have the time, I will play it. So, like, I just joined one All Stars and I'm not gonna do many at a time at all anymore, ever.
Hmm.
Because grade 12 gets busy.
Oh, 100%.
I'm gonna go to a great university for nursing. It's actually only
Slay.
half an hour away from you.
I know we're gonna meet up at some
Yep.
point. We have to.
What else? And then orgs in general, I really want to become a host. And more on that coming over Christmas break.
Ooh, we got no spoilers, of course, but we've got something in the works, it sounds like.
There's a little project that I've been working on for months.
Well, we can't wait to see it. It sounds like it's gonna be good.
I want it to be less of an org and more, obviously still an org format and stuff. Less of an org, more of an experience.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I do have one more question for you.
perfect.
Just as like a fun, like, you know how like some interviews they're like who do you think is this and that, and you kind of give your opinion on it.
Yep.
Kind of want to ask, out of all 3 of your seasons,
Yeah.
you can name one from each season. Who do you think deserves a chance to play again? And from
Oh.
that, like who deserves to play again, but not only that, but who do you think will win?
Okay, so from season 11, Oh, that's hard. Because season 11 has had a lot of returnees.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody in the merge.
Christian hasn't.
Right, Blissey hasn't. Who was it? There was something where it's like everybody in the merge of the three rings has played multiple times except for Danny and Nick.
And Christian, but
And Christian, right. But
he's the
yes.
winner. I think Apollo. Everything I've heard about him, he definitely deserves to play again. And I don't know much about his gameplay, so I can't say I think he'd win. But I do know that I've heard good things and that he was a little bit robbed.
Yeah, and from a hosting experience, it was like he came into the three rings passionate about playing. Like
Yeah.
he played hard, and he was rightfully upset when he just narrowly missed out on returning to the game. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Season
Um,
13. Oh, that's hard because a lot of people, like half the cast is favorites, and most of the people that made merge are favorites. Um, I think Sean was put in a shit situation where the season was at a very, very busy time in his life. And he still made Final Three. I
mhm.
don't know if he's returned since then. I usually
He
keep up.
hasn't.
He hasn't. Then he definitely should. And I think he could win. I think
I've
he
heard good
became
things about him too, yeah.
I think he became somewhat of a meme on season 13 just because of his inactivity. But I think if he was active, like being inactive and making it as far as he did, that says something of if he was active, what would have happened.
Right.
Season 20. Oh, because it's All Stars. So
Hmm.
who of the All Stars deserves another chance? I have three in mind.
Okay.
I'm just trying to decide which of the three could win. I'm gonna have to go with Uni
Yes.
because I think of the three, Uni has the best chance of winning, and I think Uni would make the most drama and just be the most iconic for another season. Uni's also a good friend of mine. I talk with her every once in a while, so might be a little bit biased there, but I think she's my choice. The other two I was thinking of were Bruno and Cornbread.
Yes, absolutely.
Bruno, my thing is he's been voted out for the same thing twice. So would he correct it on a third try? Cornbread, my thing is I feel like despite low placements, like eighth isn't even low, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He has such a big reputation. But then again, I had a big reputation and I won. No, but that's different. That was All Stars, right? I
Yeah.
think on another season, Cornbread's massive reputation, it would be hard for him to make the end and win. I think Uni's lesser known. And I think she was in such a good position up until that swap. I think that swap really fucked her over. So yeah, I would say, oh, and then of those three, who has the best chance of winning? Not Apollo, because I just don't know him. I'm gonna say Sean would have the best chance of winning between him and Uni.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, because obviously I'm biased towards strategy. I'm a strategical player. I come up with the dumbest shit and turn it into the greatest ideas. So for Sean to win strategical prodigy on a season I was on, I don't know. I think it says something for itself.
Hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking your time to do this. Sorry it took so long to actually get around to
Oh,
doing it,
no worries.
but it's been a pleasure having you, and we hope that you will have more opportunities to give your input on the Twisted Talk podcast.
Of
We're
course.
gonna sign it off here. Thank you,
Can
everybody,
I
for
say one
listening.
more
Oh,
thing?
yes, absolutely.
6 seconds, Tyra. 6 seconds.
Gotta rub it in.
Yep. And then I'm
Uh,
done.
I can't wait to get a ping from Tyra and general chat about that.
Okay.
All right, well, awesome. Thank you very much, Dylan. We'll
See ya.
talk to you again later. But thank you everybody for listening in. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Twisted Talk. Will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.